shaking hands will no longer be a normal part of the world.
Yeah. Fuck it, bro. I still, hey, you know the real ones still shake hands.
Yeah.
If you're a real G, you shake hands, bro.
You know, sanitize after, but you still shake hands.
Fuck that, bro. Talking about, terrorism and how, it's given governments more jurisdictional mission creep, as they say, and being able to have these, you were speaking about the Patriot Act, having this kind of power
for sure.
To change social context, and you're talking about dystopias as well.
For sure, man. I think, so a book I read a couple of years ago, 1984, it gave me a lot of context on all these governments and everything that happens in the world. And basically in the book, which I'm sure everyone's heard about, but in the book they live in a future dystopian society, and the government is like...
Try speaking to the mic.
The government is like, basically if you were going to write a book on how to be a controlling government and be a perfect dictatorship, then that's what you would do. They completely monitor their people all day, every day, where they go, what they do, and that's the easy part. The hard part is what they do. They completely change the way education is in schools. They completely teach propaganda. In the book, they literally change the English language to make their own language, their own government language, and that becomes the official language. That's what TV is in, that's what newspapers are. And basically in that language, they've literally deleted free-thinking words such as optimism and positive and free thinker and all this shit. And it sounds pretty weird, but the goal of it is that in the next generation, there's no words to represent these positive ideas. Hence, these positive ideas no longer exist. The people are zombies to the world that they're in. They have no idea of this freedom, of this breaking free, of all this stuff. So what we see in the world is basically, for example, the coronavirus app, or like the Patriot Act, or the heaps of the hundreds and hundreds of things that have happened in the last 10, 15 years by governments in violating people's identities, their privacy, in the name of terrorism. They're all precursors to what goes on in that sort of dystopian world. In the book that I'm talking about, 1984, there would have been a time where the changes in their society were similar to the changes that we have. And then, lo and behold, within a generation or two, you have a completely different world. If you compare our world to what it was 20 years ago, it's completely different. Who's to say that it won't change again in the next 20 years? Who's to say that it won't change into this dystopian world that the government's pushing us? Because we're giving them the power to enact the measures of this dystopian world. It's up to them whether or not they enact the measures. But the problem is, it is up to them. That's the issue here.
So they're making those small incremental changes to the framework.
You're
saying we're giving them the power, and one of these attempts at power is, from our perspective, is this coronavirus app. They're telling you can opt into it, but having this ability to contact trace, they're saying that they're not going to lodge any of this information or record any of this information or use it for any purposes. But we don't trust that.
Absolutely not.
Do you trust it?
No. And the reason I don't trust it is because their track record is not to be trusted.
Exactly. Historically, it doesn't make sense.
It just makes sense.
Why would we keep doing it the way they want to do it?
Absolutely, mate. There's no doubt about it.
And look, I'm not saying everyone's got to make their own decisions about this, opting in, opting out, but I always believe that you should make your decisions with as much education as possible. You're educated in what could happen,
definitely,
what the context could be. But I see so many people out there. Look, I don't want to fuck on any generation specifically, because I think everyone, there are pockets of ignorance in every generation in any diverse way. But we're not that informed. We're taking it for face value. If the government says something, we believe it as fact, and we've got to start recognizing, hey, maybe this isn't the case. You saw that with the health record that we opted in with.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're definitely a lot less informed than we think we are. 110%.
so little is known about it, and I hate this lack of transparency. Even when I see COVID posts about, hey, the government says, we flatten the curve, and that was the initial objective. About 4 weeks ago, they said, as long as we flatten the curve, we're going to be fine, and all these restrictions are going to be lifted. Now they're saying that that's not enough. We need to be able to contact trace.
Yeah.
And when does that stop? When does that mission creep stop? When do we have to, when will we be going back to normal life, given back our rights? It just seems like it's up in the air.
Definitely, man. And basically, it's like weighing up two things, man. It's weighing up all of these kind of problems and negative measures that are going to be enacted, and all the other ones that are going to be enacted as the economy resumes, with the danger of coronavirus, with the danger of resurgence of it. And I'll tell you, if there's a resurgence, then we're fucked. Everything is for nothing. There's no point. Look, it's very basic sort of epidemiology, man. However long the half-life of the virus is, however long it lives in the world, you have to spend an appropriate time in lockdown and shutting everything down. I reckon the way that the world is shut down right now, we're closer to the end than we were to the start. If they just keep pushing it for a while longer, and then even if they have to make it longer, they should make it longer, because I think that the economic loss here should be subsidized by the government in every aspect, in every way that can be defined. Fuck a budget, fuck all these things. That's what is needed for the world to be as it was before. You know what I mean?
But how does that work? How does that subsidy work? Because we see the government coming out with all these things, but I'll give you an example. I feel like that's slipping through the edges. So my partner's an international student from America, right? And she can literally not get a job.
Yeah,
she got accepted as a job. She was doing a casual job because she's not a citizen. She's not getting any subsidies. And you know how much of the economy, of our GDP, does like immigrant kind of activity make up? There's a huge gap there. And how is that going to be made up?
That's definitely true. This is a tough question.
I just don't think that the economic loss from my perspective, and I'm just one of those perspectives, is worth what we're doing right now.
For sure, man. 100%. I'm not educated on, and I definitely don't have an answer for the economic side of this thing. The only thing that I would say that my opinion would hold up is the science side of it, and basically the straightforward facts are very, very clear. They're crystal clear. It's not the most deadliest virus. It's not going to kill a lot of people, but the load that it puts on the world, on the healthcare and all these things, it's way too much for us to be able to accept. Like, okay, we can let the world run. You know what I mean? And the amount of time that we should have in lockdown for the virus to be completely gone is about, I'd say, 2 to 3 months. That's the amount of time that should be spent. These are the scientific that's the scientific reality. That's how long the virus lasts out in the world. Because basically, if everyone shuts down and the virus isn't being transmitted from person to person, there's only a specific amount of time that it's going to stay alive. If it doesn't get into any new cells, it's going to eventually die. It literally cannot replicate. So that is, unless you have a cure, a vaccine, that's the only way you can get rid of the virus. And if you can't do that because of the economic issues, then we have a question with an answer that's hard to find. You know what I mean?
So, that comes down to the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal of this? Are we trying to get rid of the virus completely? Is this going to be another polio situation? Or are we trying to fucking, if we wait for the vaccine, what is that going to entail for our society today? I don't think it'll be the same.
Absolutely not, for sure. So I think something small like shaking hands will no longer be a normal part of the world.
Fuck it, bro. I still, the real ones still shake hands. If you're a real G, you shake hands, bro.
You wear sanitizer after we still shake hands.
Fuck that, bro. I'm one of those cunts that walks into a supermarket and there's a lady at the front now giving out hand sanitizer, and I won't fucking take it. I don't give a fuck, bro. Honestly, I don't want to say this out loud, but I was kind of pro-COVID for a while. I was like, dude, as a millennial, we get fucked on so bad in terms of the economy. We hold like 3% of the world's wealth. In terms of like what we've achieved in the last years.
For sure.
Where's the future for us? It's all the wealth is held out at that fucking age group.
That's 100% true, man. Look, at the very least, I mean, if the world was fucked up before, now it's going to change.
Mm.
You know, that change is likely to be bad, but there could be some good in it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, it's a fucking global crisis that affects every single human being on the earth for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be this hard. It wouldn't affect the whole world this way if it wasn't, you know? I've never, like obviously I've never experienced anything that's affected every single human being in the world, nor have I ever read about anything, nor have I ever seen anything. Like forget any world war, forget a cyclone, forget an earthquake, tsunami, none of that is anything like this. The only comparison that we have is the Black Plague, which was, however deadly we think it was much worse than that. You know, we don't understand. It's only like 200 million people or something like that, but the total amount of people in the world was a fraction of what we have now. You know what I mean? And that was literally like the zombie plague, killing everyone, murdering everyone. You know, and it's like a world uniting problem. I've never heard of anything like this, never seen anything like this. But the shame is, this is the only thing, in everyone that's alive right now, this is the only thing that's ever happened to unite humanity. And it's a shame that many people are not uniting. It's a shame many people are not working together. You know what I mean? You can be out in public and not catch coronavirus, but also not be a dickhead to everyone else. You know what I mean?
No, I remember I was reading this about, I forget what type of disease it was, but it was running through China. It was running through a place called Manchuria, and it was killing like a shit ton of people. And at that point, it organized where every global organization that knew how to battle this pandemic gathered in that area and provided expertise, right? Where do we see here? We see Trump not funding WHO. We see all these breakage points where we see racial discrimination.
We saw so many things, man.
And it's sad to see. It's fucking sad to see.
For sure, man. The very start of the whole thing is when it started. I'm not sure if this is confirmed or not. This is just off news articles that I read, but I heard there was a lot of talk around China initially suppressing how dangerous the disease is, how bad it actually is. You know. And all these things, like you said, from Trump paying for this, to even in Australia, why the fuck are schools open for? Who knows? Why were they open for so long? And why again are they opening before everything else? You know, I get that there is, that kids place a lot of load on parents working from home, education is important, whatever. All it takes is one kid in the fucking school to have coronavirus for all of them to have coronavirus. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where the kid got it from, how he got it from. If that kid's at school, he spreads the disease, that's it, you're all gone. You know what I mean? Like, that's a commonsensical thing that should have been shut down just on principle, but for some reason kids are still going to school. You know what I mean?
See, from your perspective, it is simple like that. But
sure.
that's the problem in I feel like in Australia especially, we're not united with what the ideal is.
Amen, definitely.
For sure. Even when it comes to lockdown laws, bro, I would not be adhering to lockdown laws driving around at night.
I'm a big hypocrite. I'm not being either. For sure.
I don't give a fuck.
I've been itching to get out of the house, man.
It's only the repercussions that keep me at home. Really, right?
Yeah, I feel you, man.
And the fact that we can't do all those things that we want to do. So, like, how can you tell yourself? I can't tell myself that I really give a fuck. I don't care.
Look, I completely understand, man. It's very easy for me to sit and say those nice, scientifically factual based opinions that I just gave when I sit comfortably on my dining table all day working from home. All my money is coming in, I'm working hard, I've got no worries. Everyone else's main worry is how they're paying the bills right now, how they're doing this, how they're doing that, you know what I mean? And so exactly, you're completely right. You know, there's so many sides to this problem. There's so many things. It's like it's like we go back to it's a world problem for a reason.
Well, how do you get a consensus on this? Like,
it's so hard. For
sure. Hard.
It's for sure, man. You got some undeniable truths on both sides that are mutually exclusive and opposing to each other. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do?
Exactly. Well, this is the thing. The virus does not discriminate. Humans do. Right? We do not. Some of us don't give a fuck. Some of us really care.
For sure.
Right? It's gonna entail that. And how do we make this something where we get where everyone we get a fair trial on this?
It's crazy, man. It's so hard to do that. It's near impossible for sure, man.
It is impossible.
You know, like, even if, for example, you got everyone in the room, everyone that's worth having a say, 100% the most vulnerable, the people who deserve a say, they're not getting a say.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
No one is representing. Even if, like, we had this great government discussion, none of the people making the decision would understand the stress of people paying bills week to week and they're like, oh, I have nowhere to go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to sit at home and feed myself and my family and somehow pay for something.
And that's the reality of all the decisions that are being made. And I feel like this for the longest time.
Yeah.
The decisions being made, they're not equally representative. We live in a democracy where everyone's supposed to be represented, and it's getting further and